When you tell people you're walking across Europe, they picture freedom, adventure, spontaneity. But the truth? It took weeks of meticulous planning. Every step, every stop, every uncertainty. This episode is about that part, the part most people never see. I started with the big picture. Tallinn to Tarifa, 6,000 kilometers, 9 countries. Then I broke it down into daily stages. My rules were simple. A daily average of 25 kilometers, an overnight stay with shower access, a rest day every 150 to 200 kilometers, ideally in a city. 25 kilometers felt manageable, about 6 hours of walking, enough to protect my body and keep moving. I use Booking.com to reserve almost everything in advance with flexible dates. It was reliable, but in remote areas it was not always easy. Some days I had no choice but to push further, 30 kilometers, sometimes 35. My longest day was 41 kilometers. Those rest days matters. They gave my body time to recover. I could wash clothes, adjust the next stretch if needed, and sometimes even meet up with my wife on the road. They created rhythm, small milestones to look forward to. That rhythm made the impossible feel less overwhelming. To actually plan each leg, I tested different platforms. I ended up using Komoot. It did a solid job, though it often picked the toughest, most remote trails possible. A blessing and a curse. All this planning didn't eliminate uncertainty, but it gave me a structure, and structure was something I could trust. To get ready physically, I walked for hours around my neighborhood with my pack. Not for the views, not for joy, to simulate repetition, the boredom, the weather, because that's what most of the journey would be. In the final week, I added stretching and core work. My back was my biggest concern. Even in normal life, it gives me trouble. I didn't know how it would hold up under a heavy load. I had never walked in the mountains with a full pack. I was scared I'd reach a point where I simply couldn't go on. So I trained, and I obsessed over gear. I spent weeks cutting grams. Every item had to earn its place. I was packing for 11 months, all seasons, all situations. It had to be minimal but complete. My target was 12 kilos with food and water. I never managed to get under 15. Why? I took my laptop. That added weight. But I needed it to properly document the journey. My phone wouldn't cut it. I didn't splurge on ultralight gear. I used what I had and filled the gaps with smart choices from Amazon and Decathlon. 25 euro pants, a sturdy rain poncho, a hat that eventually became my visual signature. My shoes were the biggest investment. I spent weeks comparing brands. In the end, I chose Brooks. I broke them in during training. I thought I was ready. I was not. But that's another chapter. Walking for a year isn't just a physical commitment, it's a logistical one. Before leaving, I had to make sure life wouldn't fall apart in my absence. Bills, taxes, accounting, insurance all had to be handled in advance. You can't walk 6,000 kilometers and deal with bureaucracy at the same time. You need clean ground behind you before you move forward. This walk wasn't just physical. It was a business experiment, a mission. I had to prepare a website, build a message, think through how I'd share the journey. What if 6 months in no one cared? Should I stop? The mission was to inspire people, show that with a vision, a plan, and consistent action, a new life is possible. It was not just about crossing Europe, and I was doing it solo. I had almost no experience walking alone. The solitude, the unknown, the doubt. What if I got injured? What if I got stuck in the mountains? What if it rained for weeks? There were no answers. I just had to prepare as best as I could and walk alongside the fear. Let it exist with the excitement. Planning gave me structure, but the real strength came from being ready for what I couldn't plan. In the next episode, I'll take you to Tallinn, the beginning of the trail, alone with nothing but a backpack and an idea. Live well, everyone. The adventure continues.